guys. My name is Scott Hoopmacher. I go by Hootie. Some of you guys might have met me at the gear swap a couple of weeks ago, or actually a week ago. Welcome to triathlon. Seriously. This is, yeah, hell yeah. This is a huge step for you guys coming into the sport. And we recognize that. So I'm with the Chicago Triathlon. I'm the brand and the marketing manager with the triathlon. We have a couple of other Chicago Triathlon staff here. The race is 33 years old. It's the largest in the world. We have more than 9,000 athletes come over race weekend. And historically, we've had about 40% of our field as first-timers year over year. So first-time triathletes, so much like you guys. This is a really interesting concept because we're very community-centric. We do a lot of swim sessions. We do a lot of programs on behalf of the race just to get people into the sport. And lo and behold, we had a really amazing group and partner over the past year, these two, who we'll get into in just a second, who wanted to take this to a different level. So because of these guys and their interaction with the community, because of what we're already doing on the swim clinic side and some other activations, and because of an amazing network of coaches, we have some, we're calling them coaches at the moment. They're ambassadors, they're friends, they're all volunteers at this point, but they're here to help you guys go throughout this exploration of triathlon. Actually, you guys want to stand up, all of our coaches, real quick? Raise your hand, yeah. So, I know I'm kind of going off on a tangent here, but these guys are going to help you facilitate all of those crazy questions that Jacob and Gillian can't answer, or they don't have time to answer, or whatever. So there's a huge support system at hand to help you guys have the most amazing experience at the Chicago Triathlon on August 29th and 30th as possible. So this is a really unique program in the industry. This has never happened. We're kind of evolving this thing with a lot of sessions, a lot of education, a lot of physical programming, but just know that you're in good hands. We'll never make fun of you for asking a stupid question, because we've all asked those questions. There are no stupid questions. But you guys are going to go through a lot of firsts, like I said. Wearing a wetsuit for the first time. Wearing lycra in front of each other. Being at the beach. Learning about nutrition and pacing. And there's so many nuances, but the reality is, this is a simple sport. You're going to swim, you're going to bike, and run. And most of you guys can do that. We all get freaked out when you look on Slow Twitch or you read the internet and you figure out, oh my God, these type A 4% body fat freak shows are performing at this level, and I can't compete with that. And that's what we're going to get rid of, that whole mentality. And that's exactly what these guys bring to the table. So Live Grit has been around for about a year. They are sponsoring this program as the Live Grit First Timers Program. We have 406 people registered for the program, so we are above and beyond capacity, which is awesome. All first timers. Quick stats, 187 of you are men, 219 are females, that's about 54% female. Average age is 35. 60% of you guys are doing the sprint distance. How about a show of hands? How many sprinters here? Awesome. And then the Olympic, double the distance. Okay, about 40% of you guys are doing the international. International and Olympic are used interchangeably. I know it's confusing, but we'll get through all that. 62% of you guys live in the city of Chicago. 89% live in the state of Illinois, and then the other 11% live way, way far away. So you won't see everybody over the course of these sessions, but that's really cool. And then you guys are your neighbors. A lot of you guys are Chicagoans, right? So you'll go through this process over the next 3 months, building up to race day. So you guys are gonna make a lot of friends. And,
16 weeks.
Is it 16?
16 weeks.
Who's counting? That's awesome. So this is a huge step for you guys to do. I know everybody's a little bit nervous, a lot of anticipation, a lot of anxiety, but you're in a really good place. So how about that? So our coaches, we'll get into that a little bit later afterwards. We're going to be roaming around, we're going to be answering questions and just helping you guys. This session's built around Speedos and Snorkels. Snorkels and Speedos. But I guess before we get into Jacob in the presentation, we'll introduce Gillian. Gillian Feely owns and operates the store here. The store is a year old. And again, they've been around for the past year, and they have exactly the mentality that we do at the Tribe. We want to make this a fun, attainable, and a recreational event built around beer. So I'll leave it to you.
Yeah. We kind of echo exactly what Hootie just said in the appearance of a retail store, but really what we more are is a community. The stuff here is just tools to get you to do the sport, but. We opened a year ago under the idea that this sport is fun and it should be for everyone, and there's more people doing it like us than the Slow Twitch body fat, 4% people. So, you know, in that, this is a place where everybody feels welcome and can, you know, try triathlons, because you'll love it once you do. So that's our whole philosophy, and, you know, and this played right into that, and that, you know, just getting, you know, more people into the sport. And a big piece of that is just knowing what you're getting into. Everybody has tons of questions, and the person next to you has the same question. So Jacob took a shot in the dark to try to answer them all, but, you know, fill in your own questions along the way.
Absolutely,
So
absolutely.
He's going to kind of take the stage and talk all about Speedos and Snorkels.
I don't get points for creativity on this, I know that. It's an unoriginal title, but what we want to do is try and break the swim down. Everything we do here in the store is designed for the first-time athlete, the non-intimidated athlete. It could be your third Ironman, it could be your first event. If you're casual, you're recreational, you want to do it with some friends, you want to have a lot of fun, we're the place to do it, we're the people to do it with. So this is one of 6. Speedos and Snorkels is the first one, swim comes first. Hootie and I were literally just talking about it with Gillian about how swimming is the barrier to our sport. Unfortunately, because swimming is the most fun thing to do as a kid, but somehow when you add the physical element to it, it becomes intimidating, which we don't want. Gillian and I, neither of us are swimmers by trade. It has slowly but surely become our favorite event to do. We're playing this game of chicken to see who's going to get in the water first this year. It's going to be her. I guarantee it's going to be her. But it's a ton of fun. And swimming in the open water is the scariest thing in the world until you get used to it, and then it's the most fun thing in the world. Just like Hootie said, they have their coaches here. We brought some of our athletes on board. I guarantee you what was the scariest thing to them about swimming in the open water, whatever it was, is shared amongst you guys now. They've overcome that fear. There are no sharks in Lake Michigan, I promise. There's shopping carts and oil barrels and there's no sharks. So what we're going to do is try and give you as large of a rundown as we can, while at the same time trying to give you guys individual attention. Gillian and I, very simply, Gillian with a G at livegrit.com, Jacob at livegrit.com, Sophia, our in-house swim expert, Sophia at livegrit.com. Send us an email. On our website, there's a contact form. Get us your questions. Get us your information. If we don't have the answers, we reach out to Lifetime and their coaches. If they don't have the answers, we'll come up with something, I guess. We'll brainstorm. So most importantly, we're going to try and address as many questions as you guys have. Very casual. If you want a beer, get up, have one. If your legs are tired, get up, walk around. I don't care. We don't care. It's very laid back here. If you have a question halfway through, the worst thing I'm going to say is wait. We'll get to that in a minute. Best case, we're going to answer it then, right? It's critical that we have entertainment. We have interaction here. I'm not very exciting, I promise. If you have questions, if you have concerns, any of the experienced athletes in the room, you have something to add, please, please, please speak up. I don't want to stand up here and talk for 45 minutes. Sound good, guys? Yep. Let's see if we can't get running through this. So this is part of our Learn to Try series, and my technology works today. Awesome. So what we want to do is start each one of these with triathlon basics. A lot of people being new to the sport don't understand that there are a lot of parts to the sport that aren't inherently known. Everything we do here in the store is separated into 3 categories: learn, train, and achieve. We'll get into that in a little bit. The learns of triathlon, the absolute basic fundamentals of triathlon. We swim, we bike, we run. Always in that order. You have to do it in that order. You can't pick and choose. We talk about distances. We have the super sprint on Saturday. We have the sprint on Sunday morning. We have the international or the Olympic on Sunday morning as well. You go up to the half iron distance, you go up to the Ironman distance. There's some sporadically thrown around. General rule, they double every time you go up. Sprint to Olympic, Olympic to half, half to full. You double every distance. We'll get into your specific races and their distances as we go, but they all have distances, and there's always one longer or one shorter that you can go to. We talk about transitions. Every triathlon has transitions. You have to go from swimming to biking and biking to running. That's something that we have an entire clinic on. Make the change. It's our 4th clinic. We always say triathlons is a 4-sport event because transitions are important. You need to know how to do it. You need to practice it. It's a necessary evil. Then we talk about waves and age groups. We'll get into these details to Chicago Triathlon specifically towards the end of this. But you go on a wave. There's a mass start of some sort at every triathlon. I can think of maybe 2 that have 1-by-1 starts. Everybody else, you start with other people. Good news is you guys will be with each other. First timers waves are separate from everybody else at Chicago, so it'll just be you guys. And then age groups, you race with people your same age. You guys don't abide by that because you're racing with us in the first timers program. Train, the next step up. This is a little bit more information. We're going to cover this as well today. This is kind of that mid-level stuff. We're going to talk about the gear you need, the gear you don't need, the nutrition that you might need, might not need, things like that, and then the community. Most importantly, everybody who's in this room that's done a triathlon, that is encouraging you guys to do a triathlon. The only reason we still do it and the only reason we ask you to do it is because of our friends, because of the people we do it with. So we're going to give you some outlets to do it with the community. Lifetime has some great outlets to do it with the community. And there's other things in the city. It's a huge city and there's a lot of people, so a lot of fun to be had. And then lastly, the achieve, kind of the more focused efforts. We can talk about individual or group training and coaching, and then some race day details that, again, we'll get into specifically with the Chicago Triathlon. Any questions on that? I can go back because my technology works today. Saturday I had to carry a keyboard. Sunday I had to carry a keyboard on. You're going to see this a lot. This slide is going to be in every presentation we give, so if you come up with a question, email us, ask us next time, something like that. Today's course map, we're going to cover 5 topics. The shark question, the common freak-out questions, that's, I pray to God, what's going to get the conversation going, because I'm already getting exhausted. We're going to talk about our Speedo fittings, the gear you do or do not need. That'll probably be our longest topic, talking about the equipment. We talk about tasting the lake, or the nutritional aspect of the event. Swimming's a difficult one because your head's in the water. How do we consume food both in training as well as on race day? Swim buddies, doing it in a group. Everything's more fun when you do it with other people. And then how not to drown, that training, the survive versus compete idea.
Shouldn't have me first.
Yeah. Details, man. Details. So this is the slide that I pray to God somebody says something on. I tried to come up with the questions that everybody always asks, and questions we hear pretty much every day in the retail side of things. Is that a shark? How do I know where to swim? How do I share a lane? You're talking to somebody who 6 months ago had never even been in a pool with other people. So when I showed up to swim laps, I didn't know, do you swim on the left? Do you swim on the right? What if they're all full? Do I just go sit in the hot tub by myself? How do I do this? What's the etiquette? Do we talk? Do we not talk? Why is that guy angry? Did I do it? There's a lot of questions. What if I panic? Do I need a wetsuit? How does this whole thing even start? So I can answer these questions up on there. If anyone raises their hand and says, yeah, I have that question, or I'll answer a question anybody else has, or we'll get someone to answer a question. Or I'm going to say, screw it, we'll skip over if nobody has any questions. So, any of these sound familiar?
Yes.
Anybody want me to answer any of these?
All.
Is that a shark? No, that's probably not a shark. In my case, in Lake Michigan, it was a shopping cart that I stepped on. Same reaction I think I would have to a great white shark. Talking about sharing lanes, real basic, since I'll pretend like someone asked that question. In my experience, you have that conversation with whomever is already in the lane. Do you want to split the lane down the middle, or do you want to swim clockwise? You always swim on the right-hand side. In our swim event, Monday nights, we have swim club from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. We always swim counterclockwise, so you don't run over anybody. In my experience at 8 a.m. at the West Loop Athletic Club, you split the lane. The guy says, I'll stay on my side, you stay on your side, and that's that. So most importantly, be friendly when I swim, and I get to the end of a workout, and I look up, and someone's nervously looking around the end of the lanes, trying to get in one. Hey, jump in with me. I'm not an Olympic swimmer, no Michael Phelps here. We'll share our lane. Have fun with it. So, yeah.
In the
You got to say your name. That's a rule here.
Oh, sorry. I'm Taylor.
Taylor Jacob. Nice to meet you,
Nice
Taylor.
to meet you.
What's your question?
When you're in the lake, how do you have any tips for staying straight? Because swimming in the lane, obviously.
Yeah, staying straight in the lake's difficult. You're going to hear this term, and we don't like big words, but this is one, unfortunately, we have to use. Bilateral breathing, breathing to both sides. If you only breathe to one side, you're going to pull yourself that way eventually. So getting good at bilateral breathing, but most importantly, sighting, just looking up every couple of strokes. I only breathe to my right side. I just can't do it to my left. So I have to sight more and look up and mark something. But if, like, I load my Garmin data into the computer and I'm doing this the whole swim. So you stay relatively straight. On race day, there will be buoys on your left-hand side the entire way. There will also be a couple hundred other people. So don't follow one guy. If it's suddenly quiet, you've gone too far. But you'll be able to sight on your left side. You'll see buoys, and then one buoy will suddenly change color, and you know you've got to turn around and go the other way. So, yeah.
This might be a question for Judy, but if someone panics and you then hold on to those little boats.
Ooh, I know the answer. Don't answer. I know the answer.
You know, you settle yourself, but once you touch the boat, are you disqualified? Can you continue?
In Chicago Triathlon, you are allowed to pause whenever you want. You are, however, not allowed to make forward progress.
So if you pause onto
So
the
you
boat
can't-
and hanging on,
You can't do this down the wall. But if you want to take a second and pause, you can, right?
even on one of those little boats, what's the boat
Totally fine.
It's not your fault, it's their fault.
You can pull yourself up to a boat and hang on there. You just can't move yourself along the wall.
Okay.
And we've seen that in the past. That's illegal according to USA Triathlon and the rules we follow, and you will be disqualified if an official sees you.
Right. Would they pull you or just let you go on
It's
at the
illegal
end
with
of
the
the
receiver.
disqualified?
Chances are nothing's going to happen. But
Just don't risk it.
when anyone stops swimming, though, there are a lot of trained specialists, including our safety captain safety, who's here, to be attentive to that. Why is that person stopped? Was there something wrong? We need to take precautions with them.
Sure.
So yeah, it's just swim is obviously there's a danger component of drowning, which none of you will have to worry about. There's just a lot of extra parameters that the staff will be.
We'll get to your question in just one second. Can I say one other thing? Biggest thing about open water swimming, and maybe we should have started this, is we call it freak out mode here in our store. It's what we talk about in swim club, freak out mode. Your body goes horizontal, your blood rushes to your head, your face is submerged, you think suddenly I'm drowning, I can't get out, and you freak out. The wetsuit compression will sometimes enhance that feeling. You start to panic, but it's all a mental game. Wetsuits are more buoyant than human beings, so you will float on your back, you will float, I promise. The boats, the kayakers, the longboarders, the rumored divers at the bottom of the lake are all there to make sure you stay safe. Everyone's there to make sure you stay safe. Most importantly, and if you take nothing away from today, don't freak out. Just do not freak out. Take a second, calm yourself down, take a breath, float on your back, do some backstroke, chat it up with the lifeguards, whatever you need to do to calm yourself down. It's a very overwhelming experience, race day morning. You and 149 strangers are going to be elbowing into the water, and you're going to start swimming onto something you've been training for a couple of months.
They won't be strangers.
Yeah, they won't be strangers here. You're right. They won't be strangers here. 148 of them you'll be best friends with. So just calm yourself down. That's the biggest thing. We'll talk about some tips to do that as well.
Yeah,
Her name's Gurney. I know her, so she didn't have to introduce herself. Andy, nice to meet you.
yeah, that initial wave, there's good, like you said, elbowing in. I've heard that there's a lot of jostling and kicking. And
We gotta stop these triathletes from talking, man. They're the worst. So
So
mass starts.
Any hints?
Yeah,
how to
absolutely.
avoid getting-
Absolutely, that's a great question. You guys are going to start with about 150 athletes in each wave. And if you think you're Michael Phelps, get to the front. If you think you're not Michael Phelps, hang out. Chicago Triathlon Hoodie, stop me if I'm wrong. You get in on steps, but then you have to wade in the water. You have to tread water for a minute while they send you off on your wave. And at that point, go home and YouTube like Ironman Madison mass start. It's an amazing thing to see 3,000 people start swimming at once. It's not like that at Chicago. You have 150 people. They'll slowly start going. It's more of a progressive wave start than a everybody ready, set, go. If you're uncomfortable, hang out. No one's going to tell you have to go right now. There's 3 minutes between waves, I think. You can step into the water. They say go, and you're not in the water yet. All right, I'm going to take my time, walk in, tread my own water, get going slowly but surely. So don't feel like you need to be in the mass of people, elbowing and things like that. We like to say that there's no way you're going to get swam over, but you're probably going to get touched. Somebody will accidentally touch your foot, or you'll accidentally touch somebody else's foot.
The elbows and the legs.
The elbows and the legs are what you want to be conscious of. When you're swimming, there's a way to sight. When you look up to see where you're going, as you bring your face back in, you'll see feet if they're too close to you, so you won't get kicked in the face. And you'll feel, the first time you're in open water, it's easy to feel current around you. So if somebody's pulling the water through right next to you, you'll feel it. You'll know they're there. And you're always more than welcome to sit up, tread water for a minute, let those guys get away from you if you're uncomfortable. That's something I know a lot of athletes will do, separate themselves. The worst thing you can do is like get into a race with someone. He gets in your space, I'm going to get in your space, and now we're jockeying for position. That's what we want to eliminate. So just give yourself space, take a second, let the crazies go. Good news is no first timers are going to be crazy. We're all going to play nice in the water.
The distances look different in the water.
Distances look terribly different in the water. We were just talking about that today as well. If you go on Ohio Street Beach from Ohio Street, Chicago is a quarter mile, and
To the end of the
turn is a half mile, and there's buoys in the water. There's big red buoys. I ride and run down that stretch all the time, and it's like a blink of the eye and I'm past. But in the water, it seems forever. Don't freak out. It's all right. You'll be all right. Yeah.
I'm Sheena and I'm scared of lake weeds.
Lake weeds.
Are
Okay.
there weeds? How deep is the water? Do I have to touch the slimy, nasty bottom?
So Ohio Street's probably one of the most unique environments in the world to practice open water swimming. It does two things. One, it runs parallel to shore, and two, it doesn't drop off. I'm 6'8". I can touch for a mile. I can stand up for a mile. If you're regular height, normal people height, 5.5 feet to 6 foot, you can touch to the quarter mile. And after that, it only gets to about 6 feet deep. So I've had athletes who need to stand up and will just drop under the water and then jump off the ground. You don't have to touch if you don't want to. If you stay maybe 10, 20 yards off the wall, you get away from the slimy stuff and you're just in sand. You might step on a beer bottle or something that came off one of the boats in the harbor, but you're on just sand at that point.
What about on race day in Monroe Harbor?
Monroe Harbor is a unique experience on race day. It's one, again, Chicago Triathlon, and Gillian and I can't say enough about it. It's one of the premier events in the world, quite literally, top to bottom. If Hootie wasn't here, I'd be saying the same thing. I think it's one of the greatest things that this city has to offer. Monroe Harbor is behind a breakwater, so it's protected in the sense that currents and waves don't get in there. 7,000 athletes, however, do get in there. So it's deeper than touch, right? Once you get in the water, you are 10 feet, 20. It's a yacht harbor, so it needs to be so deep. 12 to 20?
Yeah.
Okay, 12 to 20 feet deep, so you won't be able to touch, not even me. But it turns into very small, what's called choppy waves. They don't get very big, they don't swell like the ocean, but they do get face high. So you need to practice being in the open water for that.
You also swim along the wall.
Yeah, you stay parallel. So it's a point-to-point swim. It's not an out and back. So again, Hootie, stop me if I'm wrong. Sprint athletes jump in and turn left and go up. International athletes jump in, turn right, turn left, and go up out the same way. Longer distance for the international athletes, but same course, just with an add-on at the beginning. But yeah, you do stay parallel the whole way. And the cool thing about it is, unlike a lot of other open water swims, there's safety on both sides. We have the break wall on our left-hand side, or starting on the right-hand side, so you can grab onto the wall if you need. And then on the harbor side, or the open water side, there will be boats, lifeguards, jet skis, surfers, kayakers, some guy, there's a shark maybe, who knows. He'll be safety though. He'll be there for safety. Somebody had their question. Yeah, go ahead.
Adam, you mentioned earlier that you get into the water and you tread water. So I don't want first timers to be too concerned about that because you are in a wetsuit. You have that buoyancy, so you're not like at a pool treading water.
Yeah, you're not saving your life.
Right.
My ship sank in the middle of the ocean treading water.
Yeah, you put that wetsuit on and you get in the water, you are a buoy. You can just stand there in the water and just float.
Yeah, we'll go through wetsuits a lot, but thank you for making that point. Yeah, you don't have to work. Everyone thinks like, how long is treading? I'm going to use up all my energy. You'll be all right. One last question. Yeah.
So I'm Todd. A lot of people probably aren't used to wearing swim caps, but I understand they're required. Can you talk through that?
Yeah, you guys, it's wave required.
Yes.
So anybody with long hair, you probably wear a swim cap in the pool some of the time. These are an example of a swim cap in case anybody doesn't know what they look like. Chicago, it's required because they are wave specific, so your swim cap will be a different color than the people in front of you, will be a different color than the people behind you. We sell silicone swim caps. They're a nicer material. They last a lot longer. A lot of the event stuff is just latex swim caps. It can hurt your ears or pull your hair or something. You're more than welcome to wear a swim cap and then put the colored one over the top. Are you getting a beer?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. But yeah, you need to wear a swim cap, so practice with one. At least know how to put it on. At least know what it's going to feel like because you have to wear one on race day. Not the whole race, just in the swim. You only need the swim cap in the swim. It'll be a little warm. Yeah, exactly. Well, thanks, guys. I appreciate getting it started. Now we all know everybody's got questions. Now we all know everybody's a little freaked out. We'll get through as many of these slides as we can. If you have to leave, no harm, no foul. Go ahead and jump up. If you have any questions, interrupt me. Please, please, please interrupt me. This next one is forever the most difficult one. And thankfully nobody sat here because Gillian's got some stuff for me. The card you guys just got, we call it the gritty details or the gritty essentials. The purple color, blue color is going to be swim stuff. Thank you. We forgot about this.
You did forget.
Again, everything we do here in our store is separated into 3 categories. Learn, train, and achieve. Learn are the bare basics. You need it to compete. You need it to do it. Train are some details, some information, some gear that would be a benefit in I might consider necessary as a poor swimmer. And then achieve are the stuff that can help you do it a little bit more efficiently, a little bit quicker, help you train a little bit more focused, things like that. We are unique in the retail world in the sense that if you as a new swimmer walk in and say, I'm a new swimmer, I'm not going to try and sell you everything on the wall. It's overkill. You don't need it out of the gate. I'm going to sell you the things that work well, that you need to become a better swimmer, and then when you become a better swimmer, we can talk about the things that will help you become the best swimmer. So we're going to sell you the basics, the essentials that we like to call them, and get you floating and swimming pretty efficiently. Most importantly, under the learn, you need two things. You need something to swim in. The West Loop Athletic Club frowns upon skinny dipping, it turns out. I didn't do that. And then goggles. Goggles are most important as well. Goggles, in a world that I'm not used to, are overly complicated at the beginning, but pretty basic once you break it down. We'll pass some stuff around. I'm looking at Todd and Jason if anything goes missing. So, goggles have a couple of different aspects to them. Real briefly, the goggles everyone thinks we wear, those eyeball sucky Michael Phelps goggles. Most people call them Swedish goggles. They're a pool goggle, very small. They sit kind of on your eyeball, not over the eye socket. Those are indoor only goggles. You would be hard pressed to swim them outdoors for a number of reasons, which is why we carry open water goggles. What open water goggles do are a couple of things. They have a larger suction surface, so they go around the eye socket rather than, I don't need to hold these to tell you about them. They go around the eye socket rather than just like the eyeball. They have a longer or a wider lens, so you have peripheral vision. They have a flatter surface until the very end where they curve, so there's no visual distortion. So when you look up, you can see the horizon, you can see more of the horizon, and you can see more accurately. And then we carry goggles that are either clear, tinted, polarized, which cuts the glare off the water, photochromatic, which is less tinted when it's cloudy, more tinted when it is cloudy automatically. The most important thing about goggles is putting them on your face though. So even in the store, take them out of the box, put them on your face, make sure they fit right, make sure they feel right. Goggles are very similar to running shorts. You can never have too many. They always get lost in the bottom of your bag somehow. You always snap a band at the wrong time or something. I think my bag's got 3 pairs of goggles in them. But it's about finding something that fits comfortably on your face and something that works with your vision type. One weird question we do usually get, prescription goggles, there are some companies that make them. We have some athletes that swim in them. They're just expensive and hard to get. So unless you are completely blind, just wear a non-prescription goggle. Yeah?
My name's Sarah.
Hi, Sarah.
When you buy the goggles, does it say like open water goggles on them or anything like that? Or
Very rarely does it. They don't want to pigeonhole themselves. So the companies don't want a pool athlete to be like, oh, well, I can't swim that, or vice versa. The big thing is the suction, or how big the suction is. I can't think of a company that has an open water goggle. Our sales reps will tell them it's better for open water. Anything that's polarized is obviously designed for the open water because the sun glare, things like that. But the suction area and then the size of the lens is what's really important. Goggles, hopefully, are pretty easy. Training suit, just real quickly, there are different qualities of training suits, how many hours, how many life cycles come out of the suit before it starts to deteriorate. Again, never hurts to have more than one. Men have jammers, briefs, and then I'm not even sure what they call the Speedo. So I get yelled at because Speedo is a brand name, not a style. And my other sales rep who doesn't sell Speedo hates me. Or the underwear cut, I guess men would call them. Women, you have a lot of options, a 2-piece, a sport bikini, and 1-piece with different lacing, ties, not lacing. I'm a boy, I don't know these things. Ties would be the name, adjustable ties, things like that, or just a standard 1-piece. So there's a lot of different options out there. Try something on. Again, try it on in the store, and then you can always have more than one pair. So then that mid-level, the train level, we talked about a race suit, caps, and wetsuits. We already talked about caps because of the question. A silicone cap will hurt your ears and your hair a little bit less. Latex cap can be demanded on race day, but a little bit less comfy. We talk about race suits. This is a common question a lot of people have outside of wetsuits, which we're going to get to in a minute. You have to wear something under your wetsuit because when you get out of the water, you take your wetsuit off. And that can be an awkward experience, I'm sure. For men and women, there's a lot of different options, and what you wear is totally up to you. So most people will wear their tri-shorts under the wetsuit, and these are tri-specific in the sense that they're designed to be done through all 3 sports. Thin or chamois, or the butt pad, as everyone likes to call it. It's a fancy word for butt pad. Chamois must be French. Designed to be in the water because it sheds water quickly, it drains very efficiently, and yet it still has enough padding on the bike that it's not terribly uncomfortable. But when you get on the run, it's not like wearing a soggy diaper. That's the whole idea. You're going to wear these through all three sports. Men and women typically both wear these underneath their wetsuits. What you wear on the top half is totally up to you. Myself, I don't wear anything on the top half. When I get out of transition, I throw a shirt on. A lot of women will wear just a sports bra underneath their wetsuit, then throw their top on. There will be men and women both who are wearing their tops underneath their wetsuit because they don't want to have to change. And then even more so, they make this in a one-piece option as well. And you can wear that through the whole. We have athletes who will only race in one-piece suits. They just like it better. Find something that works for you. Gillian and I talk all the time about the leg grippers on shorts. We're both a little long in the legs, so how the short grabs our thighs is really important. Whether it's a tourniquet effect, is super tight and super narrow, you get the sausage leg look at that point. Or it's a compression band from top to bottom, it has like that yoga band appeal to it. Drawstring waistband versus compression waistband, all those things. Find something that's comfortable for you. Tops are the same thing. Triathletes have a aversion to sleeves. We all have really nice arms, so we all wear sleeveless shirts. I'm not sure who started that or why, but it's all right. Tri-top's different a couple of different ways. Most importantly, the cut. There's race cut, which is a little bit narrower, and there's club cut, which is what most people call it, which is just a little bit more flair to it. Body type and preference have to do with that. Pockets or no for the bike and the run, up to you, up to what shirt you get. Quarter zip, three-quarter zip, full zip, up to you. No zip, back zip if you're racing the international triathlon union races, ITU races. They only allow back zip stuff. And these two pieces sewn together as a one piece with a longer zip, obviously, so you can get it on and off. And then the fabric and the materials that differ from company to company make it more or less comfortable, a little bit more efficient in hot weather versus cold weather, things like that. Try it on, though. That's important. And try it on under your wetsuit. You're going to hear this a lot. You race what you train, and you train what you race. Anything you do in training, you have to do on race day, and vice versa. Anything you do on race day, you should have done in training before. Any questions on the clothing stuff? We have shelves and shelves of it over there, so try something out. It will usually differ from what you train in, only because training will be a lot higher volume, so you'll need additional clothing for training. That would be a race suit, though, especially in the swim side of things. All right. Nobody has any questions on the clothes?
Got a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Joshua here.
What's going on, Joshua? How are you?
Good,
Good, thanks.
So you prefer the sleeveless versus something with sleeves?
No, I got terrible tattoos, so I prefer sleeve,
Yeah.
but all triathlon tops are sleeveless. So, and don't be afraid, guys. This is a really common misconception as well. We get a lot of those. That people race in one thing the whole time and they never change. I'm not going to win my race, so if I want to change my top between the bike and the run, because maybe on the bike I want bigger pockets, whereas on the run I want a looser shirt, I'm going to change my top between the bike and the run. Change into a more comfortable top. Your transition area, which we'll get into, is only so big, so you may not be able to fit 5 different outfits in transition. But don't be afraid to change, especially a top. You probably won't change your shorts. It's an outdoor transition. That should probably might run into some laws there. But tops, feel free to change. So, yeah.
Mary, did you mention for women what they wear underneath their tri-top? Or the dry?
Yes, I know most of this question, but I'm also going to pass it to Gillian in a second. Tops come with shelf bras, which are sewn-in bras. That doesn't work for all women, it turns out. So you might also wear a sports bra.
I'm not really sure what woman it works for, but
Yeah.
not. So yeah, and so I personally, yes, like Mary said, will wear a dry fit sports bra. Actually, I swim with just shorts and then a sports bra. So you obviously want something like not cotton that's going to hold the moisture, something that's moisture wicking. And then I'll wear that. Whether the top has, like a lot of them just come with it built in, and nothing you can do about that. And some don't. So that is definitely an important thing.
Any questions on clothing? Cool. Wetsuits are going to be the longest one. Feel free to just pull it right out of the can too, man. The pictures are running empty. So wetsuits are a lot of times the most intimidating part of the swim. If you ask Sophia, the resident swimmer, she'll say you don't need it. If you ask me, the terrible swimmer, I'm going to say 100% everybody should be in a wetsuit. I think they are, I know they're legalized cheating. They make bad swimmers capable and capable swimmers good. So it's a comfortable thing. The problem is, to a lot of people, it's a mental thing. How easy it is to get on, how difficult it is to get off, things like that. So we're going to break down some of those basics real quick. Here are some things that we've heard on a day-to-day basis that are true about wetsuits and some things that are myths about wetsuits. So we'll go through the truth. I'm way faster. The wetsuit is made out of what's called a Yamamoto rubber, or a neoprene is a better way to put it. It is hydrophobic. It cuts through water faster. And then on top of that, that's right. On top of that, they have catch panels in the arms, which when you start the pull through the water is more efficient than your skin as well. So it's a faster way to get from point A to point B. A general rule, you guys can pass those around if you want. A general rule of wetsuits is 12 seconds per 100 yards is what people throw around. So if you swim 100 yards, you can shave 12 seconds off just by putting on a wetsuit. The other thing that a lot of people think is, if you're a bad swimmer, let's spend $900, $1,000, let's spend all this money on wetsuits. It's actually exactly the opposite. The lesser or more beginner swimmers benefit from the less expensive wetsuit because it has more material, which makes you more buoyant, which helps you get through the water a little bit quicker. So $240, $280 is the start of what we call retail quality wetsuits. We'll get into the differences of types of wetsuits in a minute. But that gets you into a quality wetsuit that'll last a long time, that'll make you a better swimmer. Second truth, I feel like I float so much better than normal, which may not be grammatically correct, but I typed this late at night. The wetsuits are much more buoyant. It's a wetsuit, not a dry suit, so it lets a thin layer of water into the suit. Your body heats that up, so your temperature's stabilized. Wetsuits are designed to float the body. Human beings are typically a little bit back heavy, so we will barge through the water. If this was my head and this was my feet, I start swimming on the barge. Wetsuit forces your hips and your legs up into the water, so you kind of hydroplane along the water. So you're much, much more buoyant, and more importantly, you're buoyant in the right places. Hips, legs, lower back, stuff like that.
I think that's why it's important, Julian, important to practice with it, because it's a different body position than you might be used to in the pool. And so when you get out of the water and you're on your bike, you may feel different things after.
Yeah, absolutely. The body goes from this to forcibly flat, even sometimes nose down if you're like me and dive your head into the water. So your blood flows all off. Your adrenaline's pumping, you get ripped out of the water by some people pulling you up the stairs, and all of a sudden you're, whoa. You gotta practice getting out of the water, you gotta practice being in a wetsuit, practice everything we talked about. I feel safer in my suit, like nothing could sink me. That's 100% true. You get kicked, worst case scenario, and you have that brief, like, where am I moment. The wetsuit's gonna keep you up on top of the water. There's no way to bring a wetsuit below the surface. I tried to swim to the bottom of the lake all last summer, and I couldn't do it. They're extremely, extremely buoyant. You will stay afloat no matter what. I'm one of those people who says I can't float without a wetsuit. I still don't think I can. But in a wetsuit on my back, I'm the prettiest starfish there is. Probably the biggest. So you will float. It helps if you do get kicked in the head and have that brief panic, or if you just have a panic from being around too much, being around other people. Float and look at the city and float on your back and slowly make forward progress. Take a second to catch your breath. The wetsuits are impossible to sink, impossible to roll. You will float no matter what, period. End of story. I love my wetsuit. I want to keep it 5 to 7 years. Quality wetsuits are going to last about that long. They are a little bit of a financial investment, but they last that long if you take care of them the right way, and we'll teach you how to do that. Fingernail nicks are our worst enemy in wetsuits. If you grab the wetsuit, you'll tear it apart. They make glue to fix that. If you have too much pride and you don't fix it, those tears will grow. All of a sudden you have a sleeveless wetsuit, and then you have a one-leg wetsuit, and then you don't have a wetsuit. Fingernail nicks are our biggest enemy. Anytime you put a wetsuit on, somebody, one of us, someone in the store, God forbid you go to another retailer and break our heart, should show you how to do it. There's a way to be done, and there's a way to do it efficiently. I hope no one asked me to show them how to do it tonight, but we can show you how to do that. They should last that long. Just worth noting, and this is not a retail sales push, this is an educational opportunity. There are wetsuits online for half, a third the price of what we sell. They aren't made out of the same rubber, and they aren't coated with the same protective coating. They will break down. 12 to 18 months, that wetsuit will be kaputza. Our wetsuits are going to last 5 to 7 years. So it's a financial investment up front, but they're going to last a lot longer. We always encourage athletes to get into a wetsuit before purchasing one out in the open water. Make sure you like it. Make sure it's something that's comfortable for you. Borrow one from a friend. We're going to be renting wetsuits down at the lake all summer as well. We're not saying go out and spend $300 to get in a wetsuit or you're not going to make it. That's not what we're saying at all. It's much more comfortable, much more efficient, much safer, much easier. We want to ease that financial investment. We'll rent you a wetsuit. One of our athletes, you can talk to them if you're buddies with them. One of your athletes that you're friends with outside of this, lifetime community is huge. Get yourself in a wetsuit, get in the open water. I don't think I've ever had anybody go, I don't like being faster and safer and more efficient. No thanks. It's a lot easier to do. So get yourself in a wetsuit, get yourself in the open water. Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of cold water.
Okay.
Which the lake obviously is. So
50, man, that's balmy.
How much warmer does the wetsuit make the water?
I don't have a statistic or a degree. I've never been cold in a wetsuit outside of the first 30 seconds. And we swam last year, I think, at 57 degrees. You're still getting in the lake, so it's woo, all the time, pretty much all the time. They make cold water accessories, gloves, hoods, footies for now, if you're crazy enough to get in the water now. Crazy enough to get in the water now. But they'll make you warmer. And the other common misconception, oh man, I could have put this on my myth, is that people get hot. Very rarely is that true. There are certain body types that will just get too hot in a sleeved wetsuit. 78 degrees is cutoff. 68, 78? 78 degrees is the cutoff for wetsuits. USAT?
It's like 83.8.
Way warmer than Lake Michigan will ever be is the cutoff for wetsuits. USAT will at some point make wetsuits illegal because of overheating. I think Chicago's had it maybe once in the 33 years they've been racing. Last year, early in the week, race week was like 65, and then we had a thunderstorm, it was like 61. It changes pretty quickly. You won't get hot, and I promise you won't freeze either. So crazy people are swimming in the lake right now without wetsuits. People who are swimming in the lake now with wetsuits will be chilly for that first minute, and then your body, if the wetsuits fit properly, will warm up that layer of water and you'll be all right. Myths. I'm a bad swimmer, so I need the most expensive wetsuit. Not true. Like I said, entry-level swimmers, less expensive suits can actually be more advantageous. I can't move my arms with the sleeves. This is something we get all the time. Oh man, my traps are so big I can't get over the top of that wetsuit. It's just not true. 5 years ago, those people were 100% right. This is one of our nicer wetsuits. It uses a thinner neoprene to it, and without damaging the suit, you can see we can get a lot of stretch out of the arms, and it's rotatable, so I can get that arm to go wherever I want it to. You're not going to damage the suit. You're not going to have restriction. It's just impossible. Again, if you spend $100 on a wetsuit online, maybe that rubber will be too thick, or that seam in the shoulder will come up too high towards the rotator cuff area of the shoulder rather than the collarbone area of the shoulder, and you will hit that seam on the way up. But there is no problem with any of our suits as far as that shoulder mobility goes. And people always say, well, I want a sleeveless one because my arms are uncomfortable in the suit. It doesn't have to be. The problem with sleeveless suits, A, they're less efficient. Your whole arm is now in the water rather than the wetsuit arm is in the water, as well as that hole under your armpit lets cold water in and out and exchanges the water within the wetsuit, so you can never stabilize temperature or buoyancy within the suit.
Yeah.
The suit was super easy to put on, must be the right size. Anybody who's ever put a wetsuit on online will tell you it's a miserable experience. We turn our air conditioning down to about 6. Ann Haggerty's raising her hand in the back because she got to have that fun.
I can tell you that.
Yeah.
It is a humbling experience.
We turn our air conditioning down to like 62 degrees because you break a sweat doing it. It gets warm. The inside of the suit, if you open one of those up and stick your hand inside, is a jersey-like material. It's very adhesive to wet skin, so as you work harder and start to break a sweat, it gets harder to do. As well as the fact that the suit has friction from the ankles all the way up your body. The shoulders and the chest are always the tightest part to the suit on land, to the point where you freak out and start hyperventilating and get constriction. Once you get in the water, it gets about a size bigger. It's easy to breathe. It's easy to move. The suit actually floats on the body rather than touches the body once you're in the water. They're really uncomfortable on land, both aesthetically displeasing as well as physically displeasing. But once you get in the water, it settles on the body. It's a lot more comfortable. So I found the same thing online for $100. And now we don't know if this is truth or myth, but I look awesome in this suit. We all look like retired superheroes when we put our wetsuits on. The good news is if you come down to the lake with us on Saturday mornings, you come down with Lifetime at their swim clinics on Tuesday nights this year, we'll all be doing it together. we'll all look like goofballs together. There's always other people in a wetsuit, so you don't have to worry about it as far as looking like a weirdo. Because we all. Any questions on wetsuits, real quick? Multiple questions. Yeah.
I'm trying to decide what all I want to buy this year.
Sure.
And
All the things. You need all the
well,
things.
that's a great thing. And I already have a scuba wetsuit. I'm guessing that really wouldn't work because of the mobility in the arm. Would that
Yeah,
be
so-
an issue?
Yeah, scuba and what they call extreme sports suits are totally different.
Yeah.
They lack the neoprene coating a lot of times, and especially the paneling or the types of coatings. So it won't work.
Yeah.
It's just different. If you have like a jet ski wetsuit that's like shorts or short sleeves, ours types of wetsuits are swimming wetsuits, and they're designed just for that. They don't make, this is a weird question too, they don't make two-piece wetsuits, they don't make shorts, and they don't make short sleeves anymore. Those are all surf or ski or dive suits. Do you have a question? Yeah.
Yeah, so do you want to be completely dry when you put on the wetsuit?
No, you get to use this really cool product called Suit Juice. It's a really weird experience the first time you use it, and it makes everybody feel like they should have worked harder this winter to lose that extra weight. It's a skin lubricant to put the suit on. You can put the suit on without anything. I usually do because I always forget my Suit Juice at home. Plastic bag is another trick to help slide through to the end of the arm. You can put a suit on completely dry if you know how to do it. What you don't want, which I think is what your question is getting at, you don't get in the water and put your suit on. You do it before you get in the water. Normally you sit down because otherwise you fall over. And at Ohio Street there's a nice little ledge that everybody can sit on. That makes it a little bit easier to do. Yeah.
Where does the zipper go? Front or back?
I was gonna say.
Don't ruin the fun, man. Don't ruin the fun. Zipper's going back. Zipper's going back. Every year. Oh, hey.
So what's the question?
Does zipper go in front of the back? Every year at the Chicago Triathlon Expo, people will sell wetsuits the day before the race. And every year you see somebody walking through the lobby with the zipper up the front. And it's hilarious. None of us will be those people anymore, but it is fun. Zipper goes in back. Zipper goes in back. Yeah.
When you're trying these things on, should you know what you're going to wear?
Yeah. So
Your
whenever you.
tracksuit or whatever.
Yeah, if I go down to the lake on a Saturday morning just to swim, I'm going to wear either my swim jammers or just a nice pair of compression shorts. Gillian wears her tri-shorts every single time she puts her wetsuit on. You got to wear something underneath the wetsuit. And you want to wear whatever type of material you're going to wear on race day. It can be a little bit different having something in there. Don't ever wear like a t-shirt because it'll bunch up and feel really weird. Something sport-oriented underneath the wetsuit. Perfect. We'll move into the last category of gear, and then luckily, like I said, this is the longest section of the talk. Learn and train, we're done with. Achieve, training aids. Something I didn't even know existed a couple months ago. Things that help you isolate parts of the swim stroke in the pool. Things that I've never really seen taken into the open water, but I'm sure you could apply the same principles to them. We have snorkels, boards, paddles, buoys, and fins. Even the names can be a little confusing, so we'll break them down one by one. I didn't grab one of our snorkels. Center mount snorkel, like this guy here, helps you to isolate just the stroke without worrying about breathing. They also make restrictor caps to the snorkel, so you can actually make it harder to breathe if you want to work on anaerobic threshold. This is the most debated training aid. Some people hate them. Some people cannot stand them. Some people, like myself, love them. It just helps to work on the rotation of my body and helps to eliminate the confusion of remembering to breathe. Try it out. Most pools have community-oriented gear. Snorkel's one. I believe we had a swimmer in this very room say, why don't I just let the kids spit in my mouth? Not the gear you want to use at the pool. Buy your own. They're pretty comfortable. And like I said, try them out. They're worth using. You can isolate the rotation of your head out of the equation, so you can just work on the rotation of your body through the swim stroke. Kickboards. Again, pools will have these, but it's always nice to have your own stuff. You don't have to worry about them being in good condition or anything. Kickboards help float your arms, so you can work on just the kick half. You don't have to worry about keeping your head out of the water because you have something to float with. Ours are designed with a curvature. They're called hydrofoil. They help you to rotate your hips as you kick, whereas just a straight board won't help you with that. Does anybody want to see this? You can come up and grab it if you want. We talk about paddles. These are hand paddles. They come in different shapes for different size hands as well as different resistance. What these help you do is work on your pull through the water. So what a lot of people in the swim stroke don't understand is you're not grabbing water, you're putting an anchor in and pulling your body through the water, and the paddle makes your hand considerably bigger, makes it tougher to pull your body up to it, helps to create that resistance or that muscular buildup. Also makes you way faster. It's a lot more fun to swim with paddles. You go way faster. There's different ways to lace them and ways to put your hand in them and things like that. Buoys, another thing we don't have up here that's on the other side of the store, a peanut-shaped piece of foam. You put it between your legs as you swim, so you don't have to worry about keeping your hips afloat, and you don't have to worry about kicking. Helps you work on just the pull of your swim stroke. You can isolate your legs out of the equation. Also, my third favorite thing, because you don't have to kick. As triathletes, we're not going to kick a lot in the swim because we have two very leg-inducing exercises after this. If you want to, you can wear fins. We sell them as well. We have them at the pool. This helps you strengthen your kick just like paddles do. You're going to go way faster, but it's going to be a lot harder. Helps to isolate the feet through the kick cycle. Yeah?
Pardon me. These are all training only.
Yes, you cannot race with these unless you cheat a lot. No, you can't race with these. These are training aids. They help you become a better swimmer in the pool.
The snorkel is legal.
The snorkel's legal.
USAT legal.
What?
Not encouraged.
I'm winning Ironman this year.
We should ask our resident official back here.
It is correct, you can use a snorkel.
It is allowed. Order more snorkels. More snorkels.
But discouraged.
Yes. Any questions on gear? I know this is a huge thing. It's something I didn't understand. I was like, yeah, goggles and a suit. Sure, I'm set to go. Any questions on gear? Like I said, send us an email, come by the store. We'll break it down to its most basics for you as we go. We're going to buzz through these last couple of parts. Nutrition on race day and training are different. This bottom line is the most important on everything that we talk about. We always train what you race and race what you train. Gatorade, Bonk Breaker, and Cliff. Cliff shots.
No ball.
No bump. Cliff shots and Gatorade will be on the course of Chicago, are also on our nutrition shelf over there. You need to know how your body is going to react to those specific nutritional items before race day. Nothing's worse than an upset tummy like 5 minutes into the bike, not even halfway through your day. So you want to practice consuming that, how your body's going to react, how your stomach's going to react, things like that. In training, we talk about the locker room, putting something in your body before the race, or excuse me, before the training set. I have this biggest problem. I always swim hungry, especially in the morning. You need to put something in your body 30 to 45 minutes beforehand, a simple carbohydrate that will help digest. What you don't want to do is eat a big meal so it's sitting in your stomach. Your body can't break it down. Blood's being diverted to digestion rather than muscle work, things like that. Practice it. Gillian and I, two similar athletes, are very, very different in this way. We eat differently. We need different things before the workout. You have to practice what it is that works for you. Unless you go see a registered dietitian who spends a lot of time and does a lot of blood work, I can't tell you, we can't tell you exactly what's going to work. But through trial and error, you can figure it out. See what's comfortable, see what's uncomfortable. A bad training day is way better than a bad race day, and you can get a lot of advice from other athletes as to what worked for them. Poolside, always bring a bottle of water to the pool. I think our Monday Night Swim Club, which in its first week had like 25 athletes, we maybe had one water bottle. The next week we had like 29 water bottles. You sweat a lot, especially indoors with the heat of the pool, so bring something to consume. Gillian and I are both huge fans of Noon tablets, electrolyte replacements in the water. Tastes better than plastic water, as well as has some flavor and some nutritional supplement. They even add a little bit of carbonation to it, so it's a lot easier to put in. And then we talk about beachside, and when you get out of the pool or get out of the open water, the key is that 30 to 45 minute window. Again, you need to put solid foods into your body. If, like us, you have a bike ride back to the West Loop at 9 a.m. on Saturday morning, put something in quick, a Gatorade tab, a Goose, something to get you home. And then you got to immediately put hard food into your body, some solid nutritional supplements into your body. Race day is a little bit different. Start line. Chicago is probably one of the best events in the world as far as transition to start line is concerned, but you will at some point be standing in your wetsuit with a cap and a goggle, looking around, waiting. This is a great time to put a goo in. You'll see people have them tucked into their wetsuit, into their jersey somehow. Put that goo in your body then, helps to calm the nerves, does something rather than look around and start freaking out early. And that'll help you initially in the swim, and then you can abide by your training plan or your nutritional plan the rest of the way through the race. Taste of the lake, unless you're really talented and swimming really far, you're probably not going to stop halfway to take a sip of water. don't taste the lake is my personal opinion. Tastes a little funny, but you will, unfortunately. And then most importantly, we talk about transition. Now, race day transition snacks are the best. That's a great time to put nutrition into your body, especially swim to bike. You cannot, I repeat, you cannot ride your bike out of transition. You have to walk to the end of transition. It can sometimes be a far walk. Great time to have a snack. Put something solid into your body. You will see my favorite guy in the world eating like a ham sandwich in transition or a hot dog if his mom happens to be around. But put something in your transition area. Always have more nutrition. The general rule is dress like it's cold and eat like it's hot because your body runs out of nutrition faster when it's hot, salt, carbohydrates, things like that. So have extra, eat it during transition.
All stuff you've trained with.
All stuff you've trained with. Don't ever eat something new on transition. I don't care how good the hot dog looks. Don't eat it. Any questions on nutrition? Like I said, try something, try it in training, get used to it, see how your body's going to react. See a dietitian if you have problems, because we're not those. The buddy system, probably the best picture in the world. If you come out with us on Saturday morning, you will always see this. Can you help me zip my wetsuit up? It helps. It makes life a lot easier if you have a friend. We have our swim club Monday nights at 8 p.m. It's a coach structured workout, $80 for 4 weeks. We're currently in week 17, but we have online resources to supplement everything. A couple of these people floating around are in it. If you have any questions, ask them, ask me. It's one of the best things I think we've ever done, and I think some of our athletes might agree with us. Our open water swim club starts in 2 weeks if we're crazy and get drunk the night before. We meet here at 7:30. We meet down at Ohio Street Beach at 8 a.m. It's an unstructured workout in the sense that we're going to meet, help you zip up your wetsuit, jump in the water. Some people might swim a mile. Some people might swim 50 meters. Some people might just stand around in the shallow water. It's just an idea it's just an opportunity to get in the open water, get in your wetsuit, meet some other athletes. Ohio Street Beach is this mecca of triathletes in the summertime. That's a great time to come out, get experience in the lake, get experience in the wetsuit, have some friends to do it. We encourage everybody to go to that. Everything we do outside is 100% free, so that is totally free. We encourage everyone to come to it. Swim clinics. Our clinics haven't been put on the schedule yet, but we will have clinics at some point. More importantly, Lifetime's going to have some clinics as well. June 30th is the first of 5 clinics. They're on Tuesday nights every 3 weeks. Every other week. I'm sorry. Every other week. You guys as first timers are going to get priority registration to those, which will be announced sometime later. We were playing rock, paper, scissors as to when that would be. But you guys will get early notice of it. I, as an athlete, extremely encouraged to go. I've been in the last 2 years, I think they've been going on. They're phenomenal. It's a great way to meet a couple hundred other athletes, get in the water with some coaches, some certified, bona fide coaches that can help you out. And it's totally free. We always drink beer after, which is the other fun thing. Cafe Olivia is right there. If you have any questions on that, send us an email, send Lifetime an email, get in contact with somebody. It's not going to be until late May, early June when registration does open, so don't feel like you're missing out. You will hear about it. Check our Facebook, check their Facebook, read your emails, check your spam folder, send me a carrier pigeon, smoke signal, whatever. Ann Haggerty, yes?
When you guys come down to open swim, bring a lock, because there are lockers down there, so if you want to lock your stuff up,
Yeah.
lock, combo lock, something like that.
The luggage lock, yeah.
Pretty good transition time, so sometimes you might have to wait a couple minutes for somebody to pull out their stuff, because otherwise you're don't bring any valuables.
Yeah, no value. I left my Rolex at home every Saturday last summer. My Mercedes keys were in the parking lot for sure. We bring a transition bag and your bike, lock up your bike or lock up the divvy at the stand on the street. It's a good opportunity to jump in the water. Any questions on some of the stuff we have structured to do? Everyone's getting restless, so we're going to buzz through this. Survive or Thrive, talking about training in the open water. The coaches would be great people to talk to about this. I am a very new swimmer myself. Remember that there's 2 types of swimming. There's technique swimming and there's endurance swimming. Technique is working on how you get through the water, really only capable of being done in the pool, really hard to do in the open water. Endurance swimming, yardage, or the back-to-back workouts, swim then bike, swim then run type of thing, are easier to do in the open water. Technique swimming, we talk about the 3 different parts of the stroke: rotation of the body, pull of the arms, kick of the legs. Then we have different drills. Our workouts have drills structured into them. These are called different things by different people. everybody who's wearing a name tag that is a lifetime coach can answer these questions tenfold better than I can. So if you have swim technique questions or swim workout questions, ask a coach. Feel free to send me an email. I will forward it to them very, very quickly. Or send them an email directly and they'll get in contact with you as to how better learn technique in the water. Any questions for the group on this? Coaches, anything to add as far as what I just said? Was I terribly off base? Somewhat accurate? You weren't listening? All right. So that's surviving or thriving. We can all swim to save our lives, but that's how you become a better swimmer. That's the structure and complement with the gear. And that is it. Any big picture questions anybody wants to throw out to the group, feel free right now.